Yeah, we're starting, Penny. Yeah. They're still talking.
Yeah, throw the three subjects at me quickly.
Right. Now, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, David. Good morning to you at home. Thank you very much for joining us live in London here
yes.
for this power breakfast meeting with Mr. Bowie.
Yeah.
Now, we've only got 15 minutes with you, so we've got three subjects to cover in this whole evening of ARTE on David Bowie, the legend.
Yeah.
We have a documentary running, we have Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence running, we have the Olympia concert running, and of course we want to talk about Heathen. Yeah. So if I could just throw all of that at you right now, because we don't have much time.
Yeah, Heathen, I really like the album. It was fabulous. The Olympia concerts were terrific, wonderful audience. Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. Oshima, wonderful director. Thank you.
And any last thoughts on what you're doing next, quickly, before?
Yeah, I'll probably writing a musical, I expect. That's what I've read.
Well, thanks. Sorry to have taken up so much of your time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Thank you. We don't need anything else.
Okay.
Right, now we've got to go back to the boring stuff.
I've always wanted to do that.
OK, we're on our time.
Yeah, we're on it.
So, David, let's talk some serious questions, if I can manage to do that this early in the morning. Now, we're here. Heathen brings us here.
Yeah.
Of course, today. And I saw you once saying, and I better quote you, because you said it much more eloquently than I can.
Good.
Whatever one creates is not finished until the audience has participated.
Yeah.
And the space between the artist and the audience, that's the real matter of a piece of art. Now, Heathen's been out there a couple of months now.
That was actually Wittgenstein.
Was it?
Yeah.
You ripped off somebody else? You You didn't say that at the time.
I paraphrased it, yeah.
Well, I just paraphrased it now. Brilliant saying, though. So what do you think of Heathen? How's it been reacted to?
Well, according to my website, it's funny, isn't it? You know, because you can find out absolutely exactly what people really think about your work. I think you get some kind of accuracy. You do get, for me, what's quite rewarding is that because it is the internet, that the opinions that you're getting do really come from a much younger audience than you would if you were just asking who's in the pub, what do you think of this? So you're getting a range of answers generally from between 18 to 30-year-olds, which is pretty cool. So, and I can really kind of feel the weight of what I've written over the last few years through them in that way. And I'm very lucky to have quite a large proportion of my audience is pretty young. I think people like this album a lot. Well, I know for a fact that it's up there. The other two favourites of my albums over the last while have been Outside and Earthling. And I know that this is absolutely definitely within that group of three.
Even some of the best songs you've ever written. I mean, 5:15 to me is
it's a lovely song.
Oh,
I do like that.
I've used that.
I like. It's really a pleasure to perform as well. It's a great one to interpret on stage.
I've used that with a lady at work quite well. Is that all right?
Have you?
Yeah.
In what way? What do you mean you've used it with her? You have 5:15?
Yeah.
What the hell is sexual about 5:15?
In a slow romantic.
Oh, I see. It's about 5:15. Well, that's not terribly sexy, is it?
No, I didn't mean
9:45, I suppose, is a bit sexier, really, isn't it?
I meant romantically.
Oh, I see.
That's what I meant.
I can only think carnally.
Now, in this documentary that we're going to show this evening on ARTE, it's some fantastic footage of you at 17 and things.
Which documentary is this? Is it one that you kind of put together yourself?
It's you with your long hair face. And
which long hair face? What, from 69 long hair? Or,
no,
or
from
2000 long
2000 long hair.
2000 long hair.
Talking about the old days.
Oh, that sounds like an interesting combination.
No, there's some fantastic footage of you, really young.
Yeah.
And what do you think if you ran into yourself now, like that 18-year-old, 19-year-old guy?
Funnily enough, I actually did an interview based on that premise. I interviewed myself at 19 years old. When I was around, I think I did it about 5 years ago. And he's got all these terribly flighty, ambitious ideas, and I'm putting them all down. It kind of presents an interesting scenario.
And have you released it anywhere?
Yeah, it was actually published in a few magazines. Yeah, it's quite a funny piece, actually.
Oh, damn, I missed that. So what happened then? What happened when you met yourself? Did you like yourself?
I felt a bit sorry for myself that I would have to go through all the bullshit that I went through, and I thought, well, I can't change anything, Yeah.
Let's go back to the July concert in the Olympia in Paris.
Let's do that.
Let's do that.
Let's take you back. I'm dying to go back.
Let's take you back in time. No, you look really, really happy.
I tell you, firstly, I love my band, Ray. I just love my band. I think that when I'm very self-satisfied and quite smug about my band. They're wonderful.
They're fantastic versions of all the old songs.
They are really good, aren't they? They're such wonderful musicians, and there's such an enthusiasm within the band about working the way that we're working, because it's very musical in a way. There's no set productions, there's no theatrical devices, you know, just a nice black waistcoat and a good pair of trousers.
Big smile.
Hedi Slimane, by the way, who
Yes.
is a very good designer. Hedi Slimane. Hi, Hedi, how are you?
It's not in one of my subjects, David.
Well, sorry, go back to the show. And what we put together about 40 or 50 songs to pull from. And depending on the size of the audience, because we did a real kind of an interesting thing, which I've been doing for some while now, which is I play small shows to be able to play more kind of unknown, unusual material, and then large shows where I know that I have to put in very popular.
Why does that
kind
work
of pieces.
better with smaller audiences than the unknown stuff?
Because the small audiences, you know that they're really, really there, and they really want to listen to. That they know the material very, very well. So you can do like 3/4 of an evening of unbelievably obscure things, and you've got an audience that will actually listen to them. And in a big place, you know what they want, you know. So you kind of do that. And so we learnt about 40 or 50 songs to accomplish that over this last few weeks, and it's been working out terrifically well, because we're doing 50, 60,000 one night. They're getting Let's Dance downwards, and then we're doing like 2,000 or 3,000 the next night, and we're doing the entire Low album. So you know, it's been sort of that's been an absolute pleasure.
I love seeing
But
it.
you know, I thought 40 or 50 songs was really good. You know, and then our sound man is frequently the same sound man as Bob Dylan's, and I said, how many has Bob pulled together? He said, oh, well, last count is 187. 187
Remembering all the lyrics and everything. 187
I know.
songs.
He's absolutely extraordinary.
Wow.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier on about the net, your Bowie net. You have a lot of young. You said a great thing on the site, that the best thing about being David Bowie is having David Bowie fans.
Yeah, it's true.
And you know, you were looking out in the audience in the Olympia. There was a huge amount of like really young. I know it sounds like old grandpa speaking. Young people.
Yeah, 40s. I mean,
even in their 20s and 30s, and they're all singing along.
I know, it's great.
Isn't that
really
fantastic?
is. Yes, it's. Of course, it's smashing. Of course, it's really lovely. And I've got other people to thank for that. I mean, it is because, you know, I mean, you can bounce around from people like Suede to Trent Reznor and Billy Corgan, and there's any amount of younger bands that have been very, very generous in suggesting to their fans that they listen to some of the albums they listened to when they were putting the bands together, you know, and because of the internet, those things actually get through these days, you know. So it's been fantastic for me in that way. Is that it's really, I can't believe how over the last 10 years it's broadened my audience out, and it's absolutely because of the internet.
That's cool.
Without
Did you not go through a midlife crisis at some point and saying, what are all these young bands doing stuff that I can't do? Did you have?
Yeah, I was 19. At 19, I had my midlife crisis.
So what are you in now then? No, you must be dead already or
I
something.
know. I guess I must be. Oh, back to grandfather. I am my own grandfather.
Did someone shoot you in a past life? That's not in one of my subjects.
No.
Let's do it. I just want to refer to
Oshima shot me once, you know.
No, I'm not talking about it.
He shot me, and the film was called. I'm giving you a segue.
All right, all right.
Oshima shot me once for a film called Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence.
Furio, as we know it so well in
Furio.
France. Yes, and that was that. What sort of experience was that back in 1983?
Tropical. We were on this island called Rarotonga, and we lost the cameraman on the first day.
In the sea?
He absolutely disappeared.
Wow.
We're on this tiny little island, and they wouldn't tell us. The Japanese section of the crew wouldn't tell us that the cameraman had absconded, just disappeared. And so we were shooting with the second cameraman. They were all pasty and looking tired, the Japanese. Every night they've been going out into the jungle to look for him.
Wow.
And they never found him. And every year, I have to call her his widow now, goes back to the island to see if there's been any news of him.
No.
And it was unbelievable.
You're serious?
Very strange. There was a kind of a note, you know, left in his hut saying, I can't work with New Zealanders because of the war and all that. I mean, it was really the oddest thing.
God. So what do you remember about that, apart from that mysterious cameraman disappearance? Was it an arduous, difficult experience?
What a fantastic sense of humour Tom Conti has. He's terrific.
Which you needed in that sort of environment, didn't you?
I'm quite good on islands and stuff like that. Right. No, I enjoy all that.
Now, I've got to ask you a couple of quick questions to end up with. I mean, I don't know if you agree, if you've always been a little bit nihilistic throughout your work.
Yeah, we're negative.
Yes, really.
A downer.
Bit of a downer. I mean, how do you feel now about the era we're living in, and how do you feel now? I mean, you look so happy all the time, but how do you feel?
Oh, I think these days I feel like more kind of like a nihilist. downer, negative.
Still?
Yeah, I think overall. No, it's not that. It's the status quo. Not the band, but the state of mind. I think that nothing has changed, and everything has changed. That sounds like a quote from the first song on my album, Heathen.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it is.
I think it is. I kind of get the impression that actually we're not really developing in any way that's that one's led to believe that we're evolving in some kind of, gigantic way, and that we're heading towards some kind of peak, some kind of zenith, and I don't actually believe that. So it's not really a negative thing. It's sort of, I have much more of a willingness to accept absolutely what we are, not really with resignation, but I think to be comfortable with the idea that we are not evolving and that there is no plan and we're not going anywhere. This is the state, and it will always be like this dreadful chaotic flux, and that's what you have to make the best of. And the only way to do that is to enjoy it on a day-to-day basis.
And the only future is the future that we make anyway, isn't it?
I quite agree.
Do you feel it's something you can do, this huge international personality, is something you can do
Absolutely
to
not.
change stuff?
Absolutely not. No, the agendas are too well carved with their respective administrations. I think you just end up looking a clown if you try and do it. I think the only thing you can do is take care of everything that's immediately within your parameter, within your area of responsibility, and that's about it, actually.
Long may you be amongst us, Mr. Bowie.
A monk? That was 19. I was going to be a monk.
You've been a clown as well. Talking of clowns.
Yeah, but what I really wanted to be, I wanted to be a lumberjack.
Oh no, we can't do the Monty Python thing. We'll be here another 15 minutes.
We did that when we came on in the beginning.
We did, didn't we?
I think we did.
Thank you. Lovely to meet you, as always.
Great to see you.
And
you're looking good. Nice suit.
Am I? Hey, nice.
Yeah.
I'm Arnie. Thanks so much.
Thank you so very much.